Hello everybody, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm your resident fantasy therapist and welcome to my channel. Those of you who are brand new, welcome. Those of you who are returning, welcome back. Always glad to see you again. Those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm a licensed therapist, but I'm also an author working on my first novel. And on my channel, I like to dig into what I consider to be the heart of writing, which is the characters. And the heart of the characters lies in their psychology. So on my channel, I like to dig into the psychology, the heart behind writing. So we're going to look at world building, we're going to look at plot, we're going to look at characters, we're going to look at tropes and everything that falls in between with a psychological angle, because that's interesting. And I think it really helps to build and make your worlds and your characters more realistic. So for today, I actually have a book review for you guys. This is my second attempt filming it because I don't know why book reviews are hard for me to film, but for whatever reason they seem to be. But here we are. So today I'm going to be reviewing A Storm of Silver and Ash by Marion Blackwood. I received this as an ARC review, and I've posted my review on Goodreads and will be posting on Amazon as soon as I can. It has not yet been released, so I'm hoping to get this out for you guys so that you can make a decision when it is released. So, that being said, let's just jump right into it. With my reviews, I typically like to talk about what were the things I liked, what were the things I think could be improved, and what were things I thought were very unique about it. So, first and foremost, let me just give you guys a very brief synopsis. I will not go into spoilers in this review because I think, especially for a book that hasn't been released yet, that's just not cool. So, no spoilers. So, A Storm of Silver and Ash follows a main character called Oncoming Storm, which, by the way, is an awesome name. And she is well known throughout the underworld for her almost assassin-like skills. But when she gets caught up in a power struggle between the different factions of the world, she has to make decisions that are quite difficult, including one that may or may not lead to the saving or death of a friend. I love this book. I really love this book. So, okay. First and foremost, the characters in this book. Oh my god, the characters in this book. I love every single one of them. Even the characters that I am supposed to hate, I love to hate them because they're done very well. But what I really like is that each character feels well-rounded and realistic. There isn't a character that I think falls into the, okay, well, this is going to be the damsel, this is going to be the wise one, this is going to be this, this is going to be that. No, they all feel thought. They feel real. They feel like real people, how real people would react, how real people would deal with things. And being that I love characters the most out of anything I read, I was so happy to see that. I don't want to go into spoilers, like I said, but I will say that there are twists in here. There are twists and turns that some you see coming, some you don't. But they're all done very well. They're all written very well. And even the ones that kind of surprise you, you can look back and say, oh, I can see how that was built up too. And that's what should happen when there are twists. You should be able to look back and say, oh, this makes sense because of X, Y, and Z. And that's what happens here. Secondly, I really like the world building here. It's really organic in that she builds the world through the characters, which ideally is what you want to do, because otherwise I think authors fall into the info dumping trap. There's so much info about the world and you want to share it with your reader, but at the same time, if you don't use it through your characters, it feels like, okay, I'm going to take this whole chapter just to tell you guys everything about this world and you're probably not going to remember half of it. That's not what she does. We follow our main character and we are introduced to aspects of the world through her. We learn it either as she learns it or as she interacts with it. I love the fact that there's a lot of showing in this book. There is not a lot of telling. There's a lot of showing. And that just makes the book feel more real and authentic to me. So what needs work? I think my main complaint with this book is that the finale feels a smidge rushed. And by that, I don't mean the finale is bad. I really want to emphasize that. The finale is still good. It still answers the questions you need answered. But I feel like there could have been a little more buildup to it, and it could have been expanded a little more. As it is, it kind of feels like, okay, I need to get this finale out of the way. Let's wrap it up real quick. And again, like I said, it's not a deal breaker. I still think it works fine as a finale. I just think it probably could have, a little more time could have been spent on it, and I think it would have improved it dramatically. Let's see here. That honestly is my main complaint with this book. Seriously. I am thinking and trying to figure out something else that I didn't like, and I really can't think of anything else. That is the main thing I see, the main issue I see. And like I said, it's not a deal breaker at all, and I still think it still works. I just think maybe in future projects, maybe spread out the finale a little bit, and it would probably work better. What are some unique elements that I like in this book? I think the one I want to bring up the most is this book is in first person. I usually hate first person. Like, I am not a fan of first person as a general rule. I loved it. That was absolutely the right choice for this book, was to put it in first person. It really makes it feel real. It makes it feel genuine as we run through these events and we meet all these different characters. And it just pulled me in. This is a book that I received the ARC on Thursday, and I finished it before the end of Friday. It has been a really long time since I have stayed up late to read a book. I was reading this book when I got my lunch break at work. I was like, oh yay, I have 30 minutes. I can work on this. I can read this. Then as soon as I got off work, I was like, oh, I need to finish this. That is a great feeling to have. I felt giddy reading this. Like, I was smiling, I was laughing. At one point, I was talking to the book, and I'm sure several of you have done that before, where you've gotten to a point where you're like, oh, really? You're gonna do that? You're gonna do this? Really? I was doing that. And that, to me, is a sign of a great book, a well-written book. And so now we come to what I consider to be my psychological review of a book, which is basically where I take psychological issues that show up in the book and I rank them from 1 to 5. 1 being not realistic at all, 5 being spot on. And I just want to make this clear, I very rarely give a 5. Even to my own books, I don't usually give a 5. Because I think you almost have to be writing a memoir for that to be completely 100% accurate. But that being said, without going into spoiler territory, this book does deal with some trauma in a character's past, and it is dealt with and brought up. From out of five rankings, I would say probably 3.5 for how it was dealt with. It was dealt with, honestly, fairly realistically. I don't think there was any error with how it was dealt with. However, I think more time should have been devoted to it. Again, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but the event is brought up, it's dealt with, and that's really the last we hear of it. Which, for the plot, isn't bad. I mean, it doesn't negatively affect the plot at all, but I feel like there should have been a little more time devoted to it. But like I said, I don't consider it harmful. I don't consider it negative. Just not quite as good as it could have been. So 3.5 out of 5 for that. Now, ranking the book on a star scale, I would give this 5 out of 5. I rank my books based on how much I enjoy them and how well I think they're written. I think this is written exceptionally well, and like I said, I was very giddy reading this book. I loved reading this book. I will be rereading this book. I have a digital copy of it. I will be buying a physical one when it becomes available. And I hope that the author takes us back to this world again in maybe some future projects, because I'd love to revisit it again. All right, guys, so thank you for tuning in for my review of A Storm of Silver and Ash. I do hope that you guys will check it out when it's released. I will link my Goodreads review below, and as soon as the release date is available, I hope you guys will check it out. And until next time, I hope you guys have a good one. As always, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you find out whenever I upload new videos. If you have suggestions or comments, leave them below. I always like to check them out. And until next time, have a good one, guys.